Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Leadership Lounge with Marlowe Foster. Joining us today is Leslie Cohen. Leslie is a Democratic candidate for County Commissioner in New Hanover County, North Carolina. Leslie was raised by a single mother after her father was killed in a car accident when she was only 11 years old. She learned from an early age to be self-reliant and to navigate life in unconventional ways. Leslie knows the value of education firsthand. She is fortunate to have enjoyed a vibrant and robust education despite not having obtained her bachelor's degree. In addition to more traditional curriculum in high school, she learned typography, layout techniques, commercial printing, and design skills. Leslie entered Emory University after only the 10th grade through the early enrollment program and continued her undergraduate studies for 4 years, attending the University of Georgia, Georgia State University, and Emory. Leslie gained a world-class education that set her up for success for the rest of her life. We are so excited to have her in the studio today. It's time to kick back on the Leadership Lounge with Marlowe Foster. Leslie, hey, we are so excited to have you in the Leadership Lounge today as we kick off our spring season. And I know that you're running for County Commissioner in New Hanover County. But before we dive into that race and your thoughts on that race, can you give our listeners a little sense of who Leslie is?
Well, in 2018, was a first-time candidate. I ran for North Carolina House. And that was something that I never imagined that I would do. In my wildest dreams, did not think I would be someone who would run for office. But I, like many women in 2018, felt like I just couldn't sit on the sidelines anymore. And some people in the community approached me to run. We were concerned that that seat might go unchallenged. And when that happened, I sat down and talked to some folks and said, I can do this. And so I jumped in. We came painfully close in that race. The kind of loss where I'm still waking up thinking, if I had just done this little thing. So, you can't get that close and not do it again. But when the legislature, in their infinite wisdom, redrew the maps, they drew me out of that district. And I ended up in the same district as Marsha Morgan, who was a fantastic candidate. And so I threw my support behind her and sat down with my team and said, okay, where can I best serve? And with everything that's going on in the county commission right now in New Hanover County, that seemed the right place. But before I got into this whole politics thing, I was an activist. I was very involved in my community. I've got 2 adult children, both of which are transgender. So those issues certainly motivated my activism even further. And I'm a small business owner. I'm an artist. And a lot of people don't think of that as a small business, but really the difference between a successful artist and a starving artist is not the art, it's the business acumen. So I came to that, though, from commercial art. I did collateral advertising for Fortune 500 companies. My husband and I had a graphic design firm for about 20 years before we transitioned, both of us, into fine art.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Excellent. Well, that's definitely a unique background, I would say, for a politician. Most of the time we see the attorneys, the real estate agents, the doctors, the lawyers. So it's refreshing to see someone with a very different background pursuing office.
And I think traditionally that's been the case, but that's changing more and more. We're seeing more teachers and social workers and and more moms. I mean, I think as we see more and more women run, because traditionally, what did a politician look like? It was a white male attorney, right?
Right.
And now, as people from different areas of our society run, we're seeing really vastly different backgrounds, and I think that's a good thing.
Well, it definitely is more representative of the population at large, in conversation for another day. But we both know that, one of the barriers to being able to pursue political office is just the ability to be able to support yourself in that process. And those other occupations have tended historically to lend themselves to a little more flexibility. But it is refreshing to see so many different types of people pursuing public office today, and it's truly more representative of the population. So you're absolutely right. So the transition from a run for state house to a run for county commission in New Hanover County, North Carolina. Tell me about the issue set that you're focused on in your campaign.
Right now in New Hanover County, we really have a dysfunctional county commission. We have, there are 5 people on the commission. We have a little cabal of 3 that is making all of the decisions. They're doing it behind closed doors in secret meetings, 2 at a time, apparently, because if they meet 3 together, then that would be illegal. But they are really blocking out the other 2 commissioners. And in doing that, they have put our hospital up for sale, which is really the hot issue right now in New Hanover County. 85%, I think it was, who were polled were opposed to selling the hospital. And it seems to be on a fast track to do that. Now the 3 commissioners involved say that no, it's not necessarily going to end that way, that they're exploring all options, but no one in the county is really comfortable with that. And there is a lot of worry that our hospital is going to be gone. We've got one of the largest, if not the largest, public hospital in the country. And if we sell it, we will never get that back. We will never have a public hospital again. So the feeling is, and I agree, that we should do everything possible to not sell that hospital. And it's not like it's in financial trouble. The hospital is on very solid ground, is operating profitably, has a nice amount of money, I think $600 million in the bank. So it's that no one has really been able to answer why this is necessary right now.
Right. And there's a community advisement group or a group that's looking at and studying the RFP process and that sort of thing. What is your sense of where they are headed, how that process is playing out, and when do we expect to get some recommendation from that group?
Well, they have actually put out the request for proposals for sale of the hospital. That has already gone out at this point. And the proposals are due back in March, and I don't have that date in front of me, so I don't want to say it. So we are moving forward very, very quickly. And I think the people on the PAG are good folks, and they want to do the right thing. But there was no opportunity as they met for an opposing viewpoint to be presented. They were given information from the hospital board and the folks who are very much pro-sale on how to go about putting together this RFP. And now that the request for proposals is out there, now they're setting up these public hearings for people to come in and be involved in the process. But it's too late. The RFP is already done. But hopefully, as the proposals come back in, they'll be able to use some of this input to make their decision on what to advise the county commissioners to do. Unfortunately, the county commissioners are not bound by what the PAG tells them. So the PAG could come back and say, this is a terrible proposal. This is not what the community wants. We think this is a bad idea. And those 3 commissioners could say, we don't care, and just push it right through. And 2 of those commissioners' terms end this year, and they have decided not to run again. So they are really not answerable in any way to the public.
Well, we will definitely keep our eye on that issue, and I'm sure you'll have a lot more to say about that as you continue to campaign across New Hanover County. I know another issue that's drawn a lot of attention, it's been hot and heavy in New Hanover County, is the issue of WAVE and the transportation system. It's been somewhat of a political football between the city of Wilmington, the county. Can you tell me a little bit about that and where you stand on transportation issues and WAVE specifically?
Well, it's gotten even hotter in the last 24 hours because some funding has been delayed from the state and from the federal government. So WAVE has come and asked the city and the county for, I believe it's $1.5 million. And I just saw this last night late and didn't look at it again this morning, and a cash advance or additional funding to cover, let me take that back, it was $700,000 that they need, or they're going to have to cease operation within a very short period of time.
Oh my goodness.
Because they are just out of money. So it will be very interesting to see. I know the city will take this very seriously and act quickly. I am not so confident that the county is going to meet this need. And it's very worrisome. Now, long-term for WAVE, I mean, there are the short-term problems that obviously will have been covered by the time I get there. WAVE was set up very much, I won't say to fail, but not to succeed well.
Right.
They are dependent on a line item budget from the city and from the county. And of course, there are federal and state funds that come down, but they don't have a dedicated funding source. So it's very much like you or I living from paycheck to paycheck. Anyone who has ever done that knows that when you're in that situation, you can't plan for your future. You are just focused on keeping the lights on and keeping the rent paid. And you can't think about expanding or saving for the future or building a house or any of those things. And that's where WAVE is.
Right.
And if we are going to have a robust transportation system, public transportation system, which I think we need in New Hanover County, we can't fund it in this way. And the other thing is, geographically, New Hanover County is the smallest county in North Carolina. So it makes much more sense for us to have a regional transportation system so that we're working with Pender and Brunswick. And because there are an awful lot of people who commute into Wilmington from those other counties. So we need to work with them and convince them that they also need to provide a dedicated funding source for WAVE and build a really robust system, because we're growing so fast in Eastern North Carolina. And if we want to be able to drive from point A to point B, we need a very robust public transportation system. We need to be able to capture some of what they call the choice ridership, the people who don't have to ride public transportation, but choose to. And right now, we don't have that. We are dependent completely on folks who are depending on public transportation. And the other part of that is when you're depending on those folks, you're not taking a single car off the road. When someone rides the bus, they either ride the bus or they stay home. And there's so many problems that can be solved with public transportation. Traffic is just one of them. Employment is another. We have people who cannot get to jobs in other areas of the county, so they're limited in their employment opportunities. It's also a part of our affordable housing issues. It doesn't matter how many affordable homes you build. If someone can't get from that home to work and to school, they can't live there. So all of this, and there is actually a model now in affordable housing to start looking at transportation costs as a part of housing costs, because it is. I mean, it just makes sense. So the areas in our county that might have less expensive land, where we might be more able to build more affordable homes, are not places where you're going to be able to use public transportation to get to where your job would be. So this is a huge, huge issue for New Hanover County.
Well, I mean, clearly the county has a couple of big issues in front of it. We've talked about the transportation, we've talked about the hospital, two major challenges that hopefully will be resolved in the near future. Any other issues that are burning for you, or anything else that you're focused on in your candidacy?
Well, right now, as I said, we've got a dysfunctional county commission, and everything is happening behind closed doors, and that has got to stop. The first thing that I will do when I'm elected is move the meeting times. Right now, they're meeting at 4 p.m. People who work cannot go to a county commission meeting. So we're going to move those to 6 o'clock so that folks can come, see what's going on, and have their voice heard. The other thing is they have canceled all of the agenda planning meetings. And it kills me, because the reason they gave was those meetings aren't televised and they're public, but nobody comes to them. So this is like meeting in secret. Well, you know what it takes to televise those meetings? You literally have to flip a switch. When I get there, those meetings will happen.
All
That
right.
switch will be flipped, and you will be able to go online or to the government channel on your if you subscribe to cable and watch those meetings happening. And the transparency is just huge, and that's how these three folks are getting away with what they're getting away with. And it's really awful. And everything we have in the county, it seems like, is up for sale. They just announced, and I actually knew that this was coming, a public-private partnership to sell our government center, which is where all of the county offices are.
Oh, yeah.
They want to sell this, tear down the current building, let a private builder build something else, and then the county will lease it back. And whenever I say this to anybody in the county, and I've talked to dozens of people, they've said, that is the stupidest thing that I have ever heard. And I'm not sure that I would go that far. The county, the building is it was not built for what it is being used for. It was built as retail space. It's a huge waste of space. There are open areas that don't get utilized. It's not well insulated because it was set up as retail space. There are offices there that literally have to have the AC units replaced every 1 to 2 years. So we're draining a lot of funds into this, and something needs to be done. But of all of the things to liquidate in New Hanover County, real estate, really, you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna do. So
well, I have been in that building, and it is it most definitely is not the best use of space. But
right, yeah, I was stunned by it the first time I walked in there. I'm like, why do we have a mall?
right. Oh, well, so Leslie, I really, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today. Now, we always have to do this. And as a candidate, I know you want people to know how to contact you, to reach out via email or to visit your website. So can you just share those couple of pieces of information with our listeners, please?
Absolutely. The website is electlesliecohen.com, LESLIECOHEN. The email address is electlesliecohen@gmail.com. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. So it's easiest just to do a search there, and would love to hear from folks. Donations there's just a little button to push right there on the website. Interact with me. Let me know what you think. Those emails go to all the key people in the team, including me, and I answer all emails from voters. So love to hear from folks.
Well, thanks so much. Thank you for all of that information. Best of luck on the campaign trail, and we look forward to talking again with you soon. Much success.
Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.